Can I turn this on a little bit, people?
Chelsea time.
Right, said.
Oh,
It's just about.
oh, it's not.
Practice every person. Hold on, we're waiting for Mark's stuff. Okay.
What are you doing?
All right, you got it. Yes. Thank you.
All right, can everybody please stand for the flag salute? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notification of this meeting has been provided by advertising in the record and posting notice of this meeting in Borough Hall and the Superintendent's office. I hereby call to order the special public meeting of the Little Ferry Board of Education, Wednesday, May 1st, 2024 at 7:03 p.m. May I have a roll call, please?
Foley.
Here.
Patel.
Here.
Vitros. Here. Scotland.
Here.
Mr. Mealy. Ms. Villatuzzo.
Here.
Mr. Borsek.
Here.
Mr. Pinelli. Here. Bradley. You have 4.
Thank you. We'll now open it up for public comment on the agenda. No questions?
Please state your name and address.
All right, I guess we'll open it up now for the budget hearing.
All right, Mark, can you see if we have the YouTube live, right? So we don't know if people on. Do we know if there's anybody on?
There might be somebody on.
All right, I mean, we'll go through it. I'm asking because if there isn't, most of the board has already heard the presentation, so we can do a little truncated version of it. But nonetheless. All right, so budget 2024, this is the budget adoption meeting. So the board will be voting to approve the 24-25 budget. The goals of the budget were very simple. It was to foster student performance by optimizing spending and to grow our programs and maintain our facilities by continuing to maintain our facilities through prevention maintenance. Got it.
Okay. So we decided to take tax levy to the 2%. Which is the 22,046,972. State aid, we had a slight increase, and that was 7.5%. So we walked out compared to a lot of other districts in Ferry County. The preschool, the reason it's 4.5% is because we had carryover. We have about a little bit over $1 million, so the total for Fund 11 is the 28,508,854, and that is what we call operating budget. When you add the capital reserve withdrawal and purchase capital equipment, which is Fund 12, then it becomes our total general fund budget, 29,097,960. That's the magic number we're actually closing. Right. So here's just some of our drivers and what the percentage increase was. So the salaries overall was 2.3%. Very good. So the benefits number is a little misleading. Last year, when I reviewed last year's budget, somebody put in the health insurance gross. Well, the district's piece and the employee contribution, you're supposed to show the budget with that. So that's why it's a little misleading. I want to be upfront with that. So special education tuition, certain programs up 17%, but the tuition's down. We're trying to bring back programs, and that makes a huge difference. Our challenge is not having the space. So once we have the space, we can actually make some money by bringing special ed. So facilities maintenance, maintenance a little bit lower, and that's because we were very conservative when we put the budget together, because we still didn't know what was going to happen with the referendum. So we held off on committing a lot of funds to capital maintenance. But the building's in good shape. Just got back our report on the roof. Transportation is up 10%, but that's just life right now. Schools, security, a little bit of an increase, 3.3%. That's because of the budget, the one salary and everything, all that goes up. So once again, operating budget, same number as the other. And the total is 29 million. So what we did here is, I want you to see where the money really goes. So the salaries is everyone's salary. So it's almost 40% of your budget, it's just the salaries. Benefits is another 10, so there you're almost at half. So tuition, why is it so high? That's both special education and our high school students over there. So it just shows you, how much we pay, sent over there. Everything else is, we hold a pretty good line on it, as you can see. So we were very responsible to put it together. We actually did find the tuition to our basically flat, very. So we were able to work with RP on that. Okay. Yeah. Try to keep it so you can actually read it. So just give you an idea of where we are. It's how we funded it. There's the tax levy, state aid. The tuition miscellaneous revenue, we have one actual tuition student district. So I'm always very conservative on the miscellaneous revenue. Medicaid reimbursement, we're told to do that. You can see the total pre-K, that's 589. That includes the $1 million of carryover for the first year. Budget fund balance, we were up, and we were told that number is minimum that you have. We're gonna try to bring that down for next year a little bit. There's the capital reserve withdrawal, and once again, tuition reserve. So extraordinary aid, we were taught as the aides, never budget the whole amount. Or really, zero, and why? Those unexpected revenues, when it comes in September, you're allowed to keep more than 2% taxpayer. So they'll play the number. So this year we got $398,000. But he had budgeted $220,000. That means you only want the 170. So I got it down to zero where it's supposed to. And then and the tuition withdrawal, it's basically cash on hand. It'll be used to offset if there is a differential with less than market. We think we know where that's going.
Preschool. So preschool expansion, this is where we are since the money that John was talking about, the $1 million carryover. Place the total at 2.9 million. We have 7 classrooms right now for the preschool and 70% of budget is being met. We are in the whole pattern with the 70% because we are out of space without a provider. So that'll be paying at 72. Most likely to be the building is up. We'll find another provider. Including, I'm sorry, we've kept 5 years, but if of course we are reference to if we build a base a little bit longer, they'll give us a we won't be like a hard 5 year. So but nobody said that, but I'm confident that we'll show the plan will come. Included in the 24-25 budget, we just hired the last meeting second school president. Help. We were able to preserve prime mental health, take that out of the plan for operating budget. With additional preschool facilities teachers, we will now have 2 classrooms next year. Additional NP teachers. Last year we had eliminated one because the class size, we now class size is going back up. We're able to put that back into the operating budget, maintain all of our current programs and staff, additional courses of paraprofessionals that'll be needed to meet code. Hire an additional secretary dedicated to preschool and other needs around the district, new Chromebooks, and an additional school bus if we are able to find one that new programs and opportunities is Class Link, which is teachers are aware of at this point. Mark is working as hard as he can to get that up and running, but that'll be for September. Rooms is the parent communication link to make that universal, so it's one link for all the community to communicate back and forth. We're going to do a new math series. The reason the name is not on there is because that's still going to do the protocol. 6 to 8 social studies series, and we have an initiative initiative money was discussed in the prelim, which is money for each admin to take an initiative and roll it out, as they see fit. Without any questions asked. No.
Okay, thanks. So the 2% increase is $432,294. So that means our levy was up to 22,469.72. Average value of the host of a house assessment is 3375,501. We've seen that number before. Okay, so this is just giving you the numbers behind it. What does it really mean? That's it. All right, annual increase. It's $119 on that $375,000 next, which is $992 a month, or $220. That's what it is. That concludes.
And with that being said, John and I feel extremely comfortable, as I know the board has shared, with several meetings about the budget, that we have prepared a healthy budget for 24-25. That concludes our budget report. Presentation.
I just have a couple questions, comments,
Please.
So I would venture to say that you both feel this is a very achievable budget, correct?
Right.
So with that being said, I'm sure there's a few plugs in the budget, right? On a couple different numbers. What I mean by plugs is that we put some numbers in to fit, either plus or minus. One of those being, you said that when you look at tuition, which is probably, when you look at the numbers, right? You have a budget of, the total budget is $29 million, right? Right. So when we look at the budget and our tuition, external tuition is $9 million, correct? So that represents roughly 33% of all the dollars spent in this district, outside of our students that are in the district, external tuition, correct? Is that fair? Okay. So being that 33% spent outside of the students are K-8 that been taught in this district, it's a big number.
Yes,
Fair.
absolutely.
Okay. You say that Richfield Park is a flat number. Flat with respect to almost year over year flat, and that the number was at the beginning flat in that dollar wise. Because albeit that tuition dollars probably went up, the number of students have decreased. Is that fair? Variable and fixed numbers?
We negotiated that.
Correct.
We negotiated that, so
I'm saying it for the benefit of everybody here, so
Yes.
everybody understands the math. That tuition dollars per student have increased, but the number of students going to Richfield Park decreased. However, Richfield Park has asked for more students to go there. And we feel that there is going to be a benefit to us
yes,
at year end, which will be a recovery to us. Subsequently, speaking to the $475,000 we have in the withdrawal, that along with, let's say, you pick up 10 students, another 150,000, and then 600,000, 700,000 could be a benefit to us at year end.
absolutely.
Is that fair?
And we tried to steer to a fairer number for the students, because I have numbers, but we negotiated, so it is a little high.
Understood. And I know that we do that because we need to match on the county level.
Correct,
Okay.
absolutely.
So the reason why I bring this up is for a couple of things. First is that, albeit that we need to match on a county level, I want to bring it up that the $475,000 that's been brought up to the public a few times, I suppose. When the year ends and that money's still here, I'm hoping that that's gonna roll back into the general budget for the next year, correct? Going into
It should.
that hope,
It's also, you can also say, for example, we had an emergency in special ed side.
correct, like a couple students.
But if you make it to the end, it goes back, it goes back toward fund balance.
Right, along with whatever students come back in.
Correct.
I would like to see a commitment from the folks here that we would make sure to see that we do our level best to see if somehow put that money into the infrastructure of the students here, the K-8 students here in this district for programs, because as I look at all the salaries and the monies that we spend here, programs, new reading materials, whatever it is, books, whatever other tools that we can have here to help strengthen our programs as best we can. Not that we're not doing it, but to help improve the infrastructure of the K-8 students here, because when we look at what we're spending here, 33 cents of every dollar is going out outside this. When we look at the entire district, there's 1,000 students, let's say, or let's say there's 800 students that come here, and there's 265 students or 250 students that go to Ridgefield Park, and some students that go to special ed. The lion's share come here to the district, but we're only spending 66 cents of that money, 66 cents. It's not an equivalent amount of dollars spent on students that are here in the K-8 district. And that's not including on a per pupil level, that's not including the building, that's not including the upkeep of all the other parts that needed to run the district itself. So I'd like to see that, you know, I feel sometimes that the students here that are going K-8 are not that, I don't want to use the word shortchanged, but I like to make sure that we're trying to spend every last cent that we possibly can squeeze from all these other departments that we can put them back into this K-8 district.
So I just wanted to cut you off. real quick.
Sure.
So that was part of when I had with the park administration. That was part of my selling point, wanting to work out a number for tuition.
Mhm.
Was because I felt not only would it benefit our students, it would benefit the students that we're now sending to the Ridgefield Park, because we can both districts can take that money and put it back into the students. Because essentially, what they're charging us, we have to put aside. We have no choice but to make sure we protect ourselves for an adjustment tuition later down the line. But if we came to an agreement, because they have to do the same thing on their, they have to have a placeholder as well. And that's why I'm so steadfast about wanting to make a commitment to bringing tuition down, because that money ultimately will go back to our students, and then the students, and better than the students that we're now sending to the park.
Sure, but when you look at all these other districts and when they're adding our students, these are just a per pupil cost that they're picking up for tucking in students into their district. They're recovering their costs with their district themselves at Ridgefield Park. They're encompassing these costs. We here are taking in with $19 million. We're paying, you know, electric with all these other buildings and ground costs and everything else, and we're trying to educate 800 plus students here. And then for $9 million, we're trying to educate 265 kids at the high school, get them transported, plus a special ed. I don't want to keep beating a dead horse, but it's just, we just need to squeeze every dollar we can and just try to make sure that whatever can be used and then recouped, we put back here to give our students here in the K-8, and continue to give them the best education possible. Not that we're not, but if it's another math series or reading program, whatever it is, you know, as we have this do to and do from Ridgefield Park and these other districts, try to negotiate our best, because I'm sure we had a plug of like another 150,000 that we could have budgeted elsewhere in the district, and we had to plug it with these folks, right? I mean, what was the plug here, Matt? 100,000? 10 kids? So it's gotta be $100,000 to $150,000 that we plug to make it that we could have probably budgeted elsewhere, right?
And we'll know, and to be fair, that's accurate. We'll know that pretty much going into September where that number falls. So that number doesn't necessarily, because we won't have that money in the school year. And we were more comfortable this year doing that because a lot of the grants that we received in COVID years that are expiring in September allowed us to purchase a program, purchase some materials this year that we don't now need to purchase going into next year. So this year it felt a little more comfortable. But your point is well taken, and I don't think there's an argument to be made other than
What's
we're
nice,
plugging money to essentially cover ourselves, but we were more comfortable doing it that way because we won't have to, well, we have it there if because you don't know, it's transient.
Correct, and we don't know what could be coming in, we got a
Exactly.
couple special ed kids, or transportation wise, or what else could come in, I understand that.
And if we run a re-registration, you know, we might find a couple that don't
Right.
live there, so that could also.
And that's the other thing, right? So the other issue is they're registering students there. They're catching a lot of kids that do not belong to the high school. And they want to make this deal where, oh, if it's in their senior year and it's October, they can stay and let them. I'm not amenable to paying 16,000 for a little Ferry student. I mean, Berna, Ray, everybody, I don't know. I mean, we're paying customers, right? So, I mean, that 16,000 for us is, you know, it's a lot. So I feel that there should be a program here that any student that is not going to a Little Ferry school building needs to re-register every year, because if they're going just across the bridge into Richfield Park, and Richfield Park has them as a student, and they're living in Richfield Park, and we're paying for them the next 3 years to go to the high school, there's no way for us to know that they're living across the way, and we could be paying for them every single year, and it happens more than you think. 2-3 kids for 3 years, that's 50,000. You get 2 or 3 of them a year, it adds up very quickly, and I think that we should be looking at it for. If somebody is just going to the high school and they don't have a brother or sister, they have to re-register. I think it's, I think it's something that we should look at, because
Running it
we're
right now.
paying, it's a business for us, right? So I don't think it's a lot to ask for them to bring in a lease and every August.
Yes, we're running a pre-registration right now for the, or residency check rather for 6 weeks.
They're catching kids living right across the block in Bogota, kids in Teaneck, and then they feel bad, or kids living in, if they caught a kid in Little Ferry, they'd be calling us up to pay tuition, right? So why should we be paying if kids are living in Richfield Park? And it's a lot of money. I mean, it's not free. So I think that, we as stewards, we should be doing everything possible to just watch every dollar. And we have somebody that does this for us regularly, right? We should be watching all these kids. It's just a couple things, wait for us to whittle down that number and protect those dollars. So just a couple thoughts, and just want to talk about those items. So thank you.
What's nice, so everybody understands, the tuition reserve is a little different than the other ones. The tuition reserve is basically cash for this year. So if you don't touch it, it goes into the free balance, it goes into the pot. So it's not like a cap reserve, we just hold it forever. So it's sort of nice that if you don't have to use it, it goes right back in.
My fear is that they are sending out their person that's checking these kids, and then they're not following up on what they're doing, and they're tying this person's hand, and they're impeding this person's power as the person doing the verifications. I think that we should be doing that. We put a lot of people at the beginning, right? Yeah, Michelle, then we catch a lot of people at the beginning, and I guarantee if we catch 1 or 2, that's 15, was it 17 and change now?
17.7.
17.7 times 2, that's a quick one. It's 34,000. How much, how much is a secretary?
1 year. They get
That's one secretary, right?
3 years.
2 kids, 1 secretary, right? So
Well,
we need to look at that. All right, thank you.
what else on the board?
Now take a vote on the 2024-2025 budget adoption, TO 58. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second? Second. Thanks, Leslie.
Mrs. Bertoli,
Yes.
Mrs. Patel,
Yes.
Mrs. Phytros,
Yep.
Mrs. Gottlieb, Ms. Suso,
Yes.
Mr. Fortisek.
Yeah.
Mr. Bonelli,
Yes.
Mrs. Bradley.
Yes.
Budget is adopted.
All right, now open it up for public comment on the agenda item.
Sign your name, put your address, please.
All right, do I have a motion to adjourn? Motion. Second.